welcome to vlog number 7. And this week's topic is argument and reasoning, part 1. So this week's readings, we go over our first textbook, The Rhetorical Act, chapter 5, entitled The Resources of Argument. So off the bat, the definition of what an argument is in the book is a claim or a conclusion backed by one or more reasons or justifications. What I took from this is that I guess the formula for an argument is a claim, and then it has to be backed up by facts, that being the justifications. So they further that point by saying no fact has meaning by itself. So giving just a fact isn't going to say much unless you have an argument before it, basically. And that evidence must be combined into larger rhetorical wholes to have impact. So in our other textbook, Reading Pop Culture, chapter 4, essays in this chapter talk about music, and all of them ask the question, how does popular music reflect and express our identities? And the essay I chose to cover was by the writer Leslie Anderson, and her essay is entitled Seduced by Perfect Pitch, How Auto-Tune Conquered Pop Music. So within her essay, the author talks about the rise of auto-tune and its popularity, and her argument is basically auto-tune is an artificial effect in a largely artificial experience. And right off the bat, she starts off her essay with a very specific example by talking about the pop singer Kesha, who is known for using a lot of auto-tune in her music, but compared to other artists, Kesha says that she uses auto-tune as an aesthetic choice. And then the author follows up this example by giving other examples of other artists who also believe that auto-tune is an aesthetic choice. She names Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, who are all pop artists and fall into pop music genre. And pop stars are usually the ones that utilize auto-tune within their music. And another claim she brings up is that the concept of pitch is a somewhat recent construct, and that before then people didn't really believe in correcting pitch, which is one of the things auto-tune is used for. With, let's say, flat or sharp notes, music producers will go in and fix those with auto-tune. But she cites Rolling Stones as an example, that they use flat and sharp notes and use it as inflection within their music. So we have two different sides of the argument that say, oh, they don't need auto-tune, but they use it as an aesthetic or to fix their musical notes. And then we have the other side being rock music or blues music, who do not use auto-tune at all, and they embrace sharp and flat notes because it makes their music better and more authentic. And so argument, there's another article that talks about argument, and that's the New York Times article, How Has Twitter Changed the Role of the Literary Critic? So the argument in this essay is that at first glance, it seems that critics would love a tool like Twitter. Basically saying that critics should love Twitter, basically because on Twitter, it's great for arguing back and forth in public, which essentially is what criticism is. It's a kind of argument. And she also talks about how criticism also has a kind of reportage aspect to it, and that Twitter is ideal for breaking news. So it has all the criteria for being a tool that critics should love. And that journalists should especially, that journalists do like Twitter and are fans of it, so therefore critics should like Twitter like journalists do. But however, she ends her essay by repeating what the critics say about it, and that, however, they've been reluctant to embrace Twitter because it's hard to find any real practice of criticism. Twitter isn't about, I guess, analyzing things, it's about making claims and not a lot of evidence. And so her argument is that it's not ideal for critics because real criticism takes place in essays and reviews. And so she uses journalists as evidence as to back up her claims, and she also uses examples of how some of the aspects of Twitter would be good for critics, but in the end they don't like them. So thank you for tuning in to this week's vlog, and I'll see you in next week's.